and sit down.
Ahoy! It's Dave Landau, and you're watching Andy Smith, the coolest comic book creator around. Just ask his mom. I have. All hail Comicsgate! Bam! Bam! Bam!
Well, hello everybody. Good Saturday morning. I hope you're having a great day. Couple guys in the house. AJ, hail funny. First funny book man. You know it. Perfect timing. You know, that's what I try to do, is have perfect timing. Marcus Killigrew is ripped to one of the greatest artists of all time. Of course, he is talking about Neal Adams. If you haven't heard, Neal Adams passed away on Thursday this week, so just a couple days ago. You know, it was kind of a gut punch. It felt like I got punched in the gut, like all the wind went out of me. I just had to kind of sit there and take it in, like, no way. Neal's going to be with us forever. The only other person, comic artist, I had that feeling with was Joe Kubert. You know, Joe Kubert, and this is going to be about Neal, but I'll work it back around. Joe Kubert, obviously legend, icon in the comic book industry. I know Joe from the Kubert School. I interviewed with him in 1987, the year I graduated high school. I got accepted to the school, and from that moment on, I saw Joe almost every day in the halls of the Kubert School for 3 years straight while I went there. We had a good relationship. I'd like to say we were friends. Whenever I would see Joe at conventions after that, he remembered me. He would call me by my name. So that's how I knew he remembered me. And you're thinking, well, he should. I mean, Joe meets a lot of people, you know, and even though I went to a school for 3 years, you just don't know. But he did, and that was cool. And, you know, I met Neal in 1991. AJ says, did they list the cause of death? I believe it was something to do with sepsis, and I'm not exactly sure what sepsis is. I told my wife that, and she was like, "Ugh, that's not great." So I think it was complications or something to do with sepsis. Anyhow, so in 1991, in the early part of 91, that was the year I was going to graduate the Kubert School. I got my portfolio together, and I called up continuity because no email, make a call. And Joe might have had a help in this by saying, "Hey, Neal, could you take time to look at this kid's stuff?" And I had an appointment. I went into the city. The Kubert School is not far from New York City, so I went into the city, and I got to meet with Neal Adams at Continuity Studios. Holy crap. Mind blown that I'm going to go meet Neal Adams. I grew up on Neal's stuff, which I'll get into after this little meeting. I did pull some comics out, of course. And all the comics I pulled out are ones I actually have on my spin rack. I have 2 rows of comics on my spin rack devoted to Neal. Could I fill up more? Yes. I actually, in those long boxes back there, there's a box. The beginning of the box is just dedicated to Neal Adams books. And then after that, there's a divider, and then it's John Byrne, and then after that, Alan Davis. But I know where all my Neal Adams stuff is. So anyhow, so I go to Continuity Studios. I have my portfolio to show Neal. We go back into this conference room, and I open my portfolio up, and I had the pages I've shown before here online, the pages that I first took up to DC, and maybe the second batch I took. No, it must have been the first batch I took up to DC. And then I had this Animal Man pencil piece as well that I did that was basically a cover assignment. Mass says, "Hey Andy, Rip Neal, loved his art, and he basically revitalized comics, in my opinion, with how dynamic and stylish his art was. By the way, you've ridiculously grown in subs." Have I? I haven't really checked, but that's awesome. And that's funny. I'm trying to think. I think I'm going to talk loud as I'm off camera, so I'm still here. I want to say I have that Animal Man cover. Oh, yep, here it is. So I'm back. So one of the things in my portfolio that I took up, what's up, Eastland, that I took up to continuity, besides storytelling pages, one of the assignments in the Kubert School in my senior year was to pencil, ink, and color a cover. So I chose Animal Man. I really liked Animal Man. So what I'm going to show you is not a printed book. I actually mocked this up in Photoshop years ago and put it together. But the pencils, inks, and the colors are all mine. It was colored with Dr. Martin dyes. So ignore the stuff at the top. I just put together to make it look like a real comic book. It never was, but I loved Animal Man. So this was in my portfolio. Sorry for any glare, that I took up to show Neal at Continuity Studios. Neal was tough, as we all know. Neal is not an easy to get a critique from. He can be brash. He's straightforward, and you just have to realize that that's his way of wanting somebody to get better, is to just shoot straight. But he would say, if he didn't like something, he'd say why, and then he would explain it. And even if he didn't say this to me, but stories I've heard, even if he was like, "That's awful," he would tell you why. I guess he liked my stuff. The biggest thing I remember from the meeting, this is 31 years ago. The biggest thing I remember is he gave me a Armor. That was one of the books Continuity put out, an Armor script. It was for a whole issue, and he basically said, "Hey, if you think you got the balls, pick 4 to 5 pages out of this Armor script, work them up, and bring them back." And he didn't say if you're not too scared, but he basically, I'm summing it up, I'm paraphrasing. He basically said, if you've got the balls, you can work up some pages from this Armor script and bring them back, and I'll look at them. And I took the script, and I was fully going to do that, but I also was visiting DC in a couple days with some pages, some new pages, the ones I showed Neal. And I knew I was going up to DC in a couple days. So, long story short, went up to DC, and that's when I told you guys on my second trip up to DC, with these new pages, an editor named Dan Raspler took a chance and gave me an issue of Suicide Squad to draw. So no, I never worked up the Armor pages. I kind of wish I still had the script that he gave me, though. He wanted to see if you're willing to take the criticism. Oh, yeah. I mean, Neal beat the crap out of Frank Miller. And I met Neal at New York Con. We were sitting across from me. He explained his expanding Earth theory to me. I've heard that. He did throw the gauntlet down. Fast speed watching here to catch up. Thank you. Um, you know, I heard from Neal himself that this young guy came in, after he tells the story, he would say, and that guy is Frank Miller. But he would say this young guy came in and he had his work and it wasn't that great. And I told him he was never going to draw comic books. And I pointed out everything that was wrong. And then like a week later, he comes back with new pages. And I go through them again and I beat him up and down, tell him he'll never draw comic books. And then like a week later, he comes back. And fast forward, it got to a point where I think, if I remember right, Neal called up Marvel and said, hey, I got somebody here you should look at. And it was Frank Miller. So anyhow, after that, I became a professional, and it was probably 4 or 5 years after that I saw him at a convention again. And, I went up to him and introduced myself and hell, it might have been 8 or 9. It could have been in late 90s when I saw him again, early 2000s. Anyhow, I went up to him, introduced myself, said, I'm a working artist. I've been working for whatever it was, 7, 8 years. And I told him, I said, I know you had lots of guys show you your portfolio and stuff, but in 91, I came up, I met you at your office, showed you my portfolio, and I jokingly said, you beat the crap out of it. But you ended it with giving me a script saying, work some pages up and come back. And I didn't do that because a couple days later, I got a job at DC. But he did say that he must have seen something because he actually gave me a script and said to work up a couple of pages and come back. So, take it for it as well. David Brohawk Williams in the chat. What's up, David? Neal was a gentleman and a scholar. He will be missed. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. So I've got a few things. Oh, I got something from Neal I want to show you guys real quick. Excuse me. I'm still here. I'm just, I'm having to get something. I wasn't 100% prepared, I guess, because I did forget a couple things. So hold on. Yep. So one of the first things I ever saw of Neal's, but I didn't know it was Neal Adams because there was no credit given, was from the local library. And I would check them out and just stare at the covers and read the books, of course. This is where I fell in love with Tarzan. And I now have all of Neal's Tarzan pocketbooks, the covers. So this is my favorite one right here. This is my favorite cover. And dun dun dun, signed by Neal himself. I got this signed from him at a San Diego Comic-Con. That's why I only got one signed, because it's not like I could bring all my books. And hold on to your hats. He signed it for nothing. He did not charge me to sign this book. So very, very welcome. AJ says, I should bring on Brohawk. You miss seeing David. I would, but I don't know how much time I have. And I love talking to David so much that it could just spin out of control. And the next thing you know, a couple hours have gone by and we're chatting and shooting a bull. And I've got these guys coming by to paint the deck and stuff. So Brohawk, I will definitely have you on. If you want to come on one time and just shoot the bull, that would be awesome. We could schedule it. You let me know. I could see possibly doing it on a Tuesday afternoon. If that works for you, let me know. My first exposure to Neal was the Old Power Records. I have those. Neal Adams just brought comics to another level. Had to be the Mount Rushmore. He's on my Mount Rushmore. We did that on a Professionals, and he's actually on my Mount Rushmore. David says he's not here, so I assume that means he's not at home or he's not available to come on. So I don't feel as bad. So anyhow, I have all of these. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it skips some. So maybe I don't have all the Neal Adams covers that he did. But I remember Neal telling me he he just didn't think much of those. He colored them with Dr. Martin dyes on, I think he said almost like, it wasn't watercolor paper and it wasn't board. It was a thinner, like vellum type paper, if I remember him telling me right. And he said he was just doing colored drawings. He wouldn't even consider those as paintings, which I'm sorry, but those Tarzan covers, they're paintings in my book. Those are paintings in my book. I think they're awesome. Oh, I love you too, brother. We definitely will have to come on at some point, get you on here. Neal Adams is one of the very first artist names I recognized. Not me. I did. So those were my introduction, but I didn't know it was Neal Adams, because you got to remember, though, I saw those at the library probably when they were released. And, I think they came out in the 70s. And I saw them at the library probably in the late 70s. And I didn't know who did them. It didn't give credit. I was just blown away by the art. But Andy Smith going to a comic shop in 1985, this was my first Neal Adams comic right here. Ultimate Man Megalith. I love this book. I still love this book. This is one of my favorites. I love that shot of Megalith. The cover is a little skewed there. I probably have another copy. This might not be the actual one I bought. Mine is probably in a box, but you can still get this stuff. I just remember this first page with the bricks pounding and stuff. And then you turn the page and boom, Megalith in his tank top and stuff. I'm trying to see. I'm pretty sure. Oh man, the cover is really coming off this thing. Yeah, so writing, layouts, and inking, Neal Adams. Additional penciling work by I can't even Iota something. So Neal did the layouts and inking, and then there was production work done in the company and stuff. So it's not 100% Neal, but I don't care. It is awesome to me. It has a crazy man story. I just remember this last page. Holy crap. That page blew my mind in 1985. Nice perspective. Cool drawing. Just love that. Love it. Marcus remembers it. David says every comic book artist after Kirby is influenced by Neal Adams, whether they know it or not. Facts. I am so influenced by Neal. The way he would lead the eye around the page. Because after that, I would try and find more Neal. I found the good old Miss Mystic at one point, because this came out in 1982, so I did not buy this brand new. But this is full on Neal, I believe. Now I'm sure there's guys in crusty bunkers that worked up there that could verify if this was all Neal, but it's printed on newsprint, and I just love it. Love it. So I got this, Neal. I can tell you another thing Neal always suggested. Look at that great upshot, great lighting. Another thing Neal always said, and I remember him saying this when I was up there, is one, when it came to normal everyday objects, stuff that you didn't have to make up, like a toaster, a telephone, anything, he goes, there's no reason not to be able to draw it, because you can find the reference everywhere. And if it wasn't him, it was somebody that said, just get yourself like a Sears catalog. Sears catalog back in the day had everything. Had appliances, furniture, clothing, bedding, you name it. A Sears catalog. I'm talking a Sears catalog my parents would get once a year, was like that freaking thick. And it was like everything was in it. So Neal was very big on reference, as you can tell. You can find photos of him that he used for Ben Casey, the strip that he drew. Now, I did see a question here. AJ says, did Neal do sequential work on Tarzan? Yes. The Tarzan thing he did, and I wasn't prepared to share my screen because I got lots of stuff I want to show, but the Tarzan stuff he did one, as far as I remember, he did one Tarzan story, and it was for the Tarzan model kit. Take it easy, David Brohawk. Thanks for jumping in, brother. I hope everything's going good. Chuck Lee says, too bad Neal never made a how to draw book. I asked him to do a how to draw book every time I saw him. So to get back to the convention stuff, so pretty much I got to a point, man, I hope I can find this. There it is, Tarzan Neal Adams. I'll open this and we'll go through it. Oh, I got to find it. The program to open it in. Seriously? Oh, wait. There it goes. So I will show you the Neal Adams Tarzan, but back to my story. That is my wife and daughter. They're leaving the house for the afternoon. So I'd seen Neal after, so I met him in 91, portfolio review, got a job in comics at DC a few days later. Fast forward 6 or 7, maybe 8 years, saw Neal at a convention, had him sign my Tarzan. After that, I would see Neal every year in San Diego. I'd go up to him. I would buy stuff from his table. I'm not big into prints, but I love sketchbooks. I have every Neal Adams sketchbook that he would put out for sale. I've got the Art of Neal Adams that came out way back in the day. I got the Volume 2 Art of Neal Adams. I've got a couple other thick books back there about Neal Adams. I'm just a Neal Adams junkie. That's right. Please hit the like button, if you will, and subscribe. Is Andy about to confess the Sears catalog ladies' underwear section had worn out pages? Moving on. What's up, Shadowhawk Backs? So I would see Neal once or twice a year because he would go to Heroes Con. He would go to Baltimore. He always did San Diego. I did those. So I'd actually see Neal like 3 times a year. Became friends with him. And his wife, Marilyn. His wife and I would have nice conversations while Neal was signing books. I would always ask Neal what he's working on, and he'd be like, well, I'm doing this new Batman story. I guess I can show you some. He'd pull out his portfolio and show me pencil pages from Batman Odyssey, ink pages from that as well. So that was just a thrill and a treat to see that stuff. And it was just fun. And I'd always tell him I have the entire run of Megalith. I have most of the Miss Mystics. I have a spattering of the Armor books. So I don't own all his continuity stuff because later on he didn't draw the stuff. But I do have, and I should have pulled those out. I do have a couple Megalith pages that Sal Velluto drew. I don't remember who inked them. I think I've got either 2 or 3 Megalith pages in my collection I've got 2 Sal Velluto Megalith pages and 1 Mike Netzer Megalith page. But on the Sal Velluto pages, when I got them in the mail, on the back of the pages on vellum were 3 Megalith figures that Neal re-inked, because that's what Neal would do. Neal would have a studio, have somebody else draw the book and somebody else ink it, but then Neal would put vellum over key characters like Megalith or Miss Mystic or Armor, and he'd re-ink and sometimes re-ink the whole figure, and then that's what they would print from, so it had that Neal Adams vibe in the book. I thought Sal Velluto did a great job, but man, seeing those 3 vellum inked figures of Megalith by Neal, too sweet. AJ says, I know Neal's sons are artists. How come none of them really have much of a comics career like the Kubert boys did? I don't know. I mean, only one of his sons that I actually know and have talked to is Josh Adams, who is Neal's youngest son. And I don't know. I really don't know. So I thought I'd go through some treasures in my collection. 23 people watching. Hit the like button, please, and smash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe. So back in 2016, I took a Batman blank cover and penciled up a shot of Batman on the cover. Just did pencils on it. At Baltimore in 2016, Neal was there. So I went up to Neal and he wasn't that busy. And I said, Neal, and I showed him the pencils to the cover. I said, what would it cost me to have you ink my pencils? And because I'm a professional as well, he cut me a little bit of a break, but he said, I'm going to basically charge you for what I would just to pencil something. And I said, that's fine. So here it is. Try and angle it so you don't see the glare. That's about as best I can get. Here is the Neal Adams, Andy Smith, Neal Adams. I drew it. Mr. Adams inked it over me. I couldn't be more thrilled with how this came out. So I should get it CGC'd just for the heck of it. Maybe I will. Of course, I have to get the dumb signature. I shouldn't say dumb. I'll have to get Neal's signature authorized. But I love this. Prize of my collection right there. Prize of my collection. Love that piece. The second prize of my collection. So in other words, if I had to get rid of everything Neal Adams except for two things, I would keep that and I would keep this. This is my 7.0 graded copy of Green Lantern Green Arrow. If I had to pick one favorite comic book of Neal's, it would be this one. I love this book so much. One is because $50 confirmed for this? For this? Are you insane? This is my favorite because I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I like Batman, but I love Green Lantern. And I remember the splash page to this book is Green Lantern flying right at you through the streets. Neal inked this whole issue. I think this is the only full issue. He might have inked 2 issues, actually, in his Green Lantern Green Arrow run. This is issue 76. I think his last one was 89. So he did 13 issues. Frank McLaughlin inked 1 or 2. Dick Giordano did, but he inked this one all himself. I love this book. Mwah! It goes back on the wall. I have it hanging on my wall. $55, he says. You silly goose. No way. AJ, thank you so much. Back at Penumbros, at the very least, buy Andy a beer. My book is in demand. You can still get it. And please back it if you haven't already. I think you'll enjoy it. Great superhero stuff. And you'll be able to see the influence Neal had on me through some of my panel layouts and stuff. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and show you the Tarzan story that Neal did for the model kit right here. This was a little book that came in a model kit. I own the book. It's not that thick. And it's all Neal. And I also have scans of it right here. So I love this. I love Conan. Neal drew some Conan stuff. I have the Conan stuff he did. But I love Tarzan more than Conan. Timothy Fitzgerald says, when are you going to drop your new campaign? It's going to be a couple months, to be honest with you, because first and foremost, you put up a mailing list. I want to keep that up for a couple months. But more importantly, I've got some design work to do. And I literally have no art generated for the next campaign. So I've got to generate some art for it. So I got to do that. So this is the cover / splash page to it. And then we can count the pages. Love this. Neal. Oh, who's calling me? Hold on. Hey, Dennis, what's up?
So what are we doing, Mr. Chicago Bear Man?
Well, I'm on a live stream right now.
Oh, are you really?
But I answered for you.
Oh, live stream. It can't be yours.
It is mine.
Oh, well, then you better get back to your live stream. I was just gonna let you know that we'll meet you up there. We're
Okay.
doing a whole bunch of errands.
Okay. Shoot
Just call later.
shoot me the address. I'll call you later.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, sorry about that. That's my buddy Dennis, and I'm meeting up with him later. I love Tarzan more than Conan too, but it's like a bit like pizza versus burgers. Both are great. Both are great, and I'll take pizza over burgers any day of the week. It was the sleeveless one. You could hear him. He does talk loud. Andy knows how to sweet talk on the phone. Shh, I do. Oh, sexy phone voice. And that's right, Val, also pimping First Man. Go check it out and back it now. Back to this. Love this story. Look at these panels. But seriously, look at these they're not apes, but chimpanzees. You got this sweet little figure of Tarzan. You can see the Joe Kubert influence with the outline for the backgrounds. Just great figure work here. Love this stuff. Then look at that. Great Neal Adams foreshortening for sure. Just beautiful stuff here. So next page. Oh yeah, Neal's going to fight down that lion. Look at the power. Just look at that. Chuck Lee says, what's the story about the Alpha Flight poster? Can you guys actually see the Alpha Flight poster? Let me see. Oh, you can. There's no story behind it. I had that Alpha Flight poster hanging up above my bed in the 1983-84 when it came out, because I was a huge Alpha Flight fan. So I got rid of it because I was a dummy. I got rid of the poster. And then about 20 years ago, I saw it on eBay. It did not sell. So I messaged the guy, told him who I was, and he traded me the poster for a Quasar drawing. So anyhow, AJ, I got this off eBay. So here you go. Look at this, fighting a lion. This dude is kicking a lion. Not nice. And just great stuff. Splash page here. Signed by Neal. Oh, you know what? This might be out of order. I don't know why it's out of order, but I think it's let me see. Maybe it's not out of order. Maybe it just goes to a splash. I don't know. You can really see the Joe Kubert vibe in the trees and the inking and stuff. Just love it. Awesome work of animal abuse. Well, sure. Hail, Terry. How are you? Yeah, I agree. You got all these guys wanting to draw more realistic. Well, Neal took realism to another level. Neal would do realistic stuff, but he would exaggerate it and push and pull it to just pump it up and make it look awesome. Here we go. Love this shot right here. Just every panel. And then you got this great up shot of this guy. So intimidating. Nice camera movement. Of course, it's Neal. Of course, there's nice camera movement. This is prime Neal. Like, don't get me wrong. I bought everything that came out from Neal. And unfortunately, there would never be more. And I'm sure he was working on something. But I believe the last stuff that came out was the Batman versus Ra's al Ghul. But I like all that stuff, but this is the amount of rendering Neal did that I really loved. I think he started to render more and do more line work because of actually the image boom in the 90s. You know, guys like Jim Lee, who of course pulled some of that rendering from Barry Windsor Smith, started doing all this rendering. And I think Neal was like, let me show you boys how it's done. There are a few pages in Batman Odyssey inked by Scott Williams. I mean, Batman Odyssey had a plethora of fantastic inkers. Scott Williams, Bill Sienkiewicz, Paul Neary, Michael Golden, Kevin Nolan. I hope I'm not missing anybody. But I tell you what, those Scott Williams pages, Scott Williams' beautiful brush line on Neal's pencils. Holy crap. But this is the amount of rendering Neal did that I just loved. And this is the end of the story. Tarzan swinging off. I think that's it. Let me see. I think after that, yeah, it's just instructions, which it actually looks like his studio probably drew these instructions as well. I could be wrong, but it looks like it. I'd love to actually get this model kit. So there you go. There's that. Now let's get back on to books from the spin rack featuring Neal Adams. Oh no, why does my internet look like that? My internet should not look like this. Let me see. What is this one? It says I'm connected straight up. What is this? Hold on, let me just see. I always like to see what you guys see. Let's do this. Oop. All right. Oh, that's not bad. I don't know why it's saying that. That's not video's not bad. Okay. No, these are not in any order. Does the video look good? The video looks good to me. I'm looking. The video looks good. I've got 2 issues. Did you know that Neal Adams drew 2 issues of Jerry Lewis? This is on my spin rack because I have a better copy of it on my in my comic box. But he drew 2 issues of Jerry Lewis, 2 issues of Bob Hope. Neal said that he loved drawing this cartoony stuff because he could bang out like 3 pages a day, 4 pages a day, this cartoony stuff. I want to get to a specific splash page in here where you can really see Neal, because a lot of this stuff, you'd have to know Neal's work to go, oh yeah, that's Neal Adams, you know. And I know Neal's work, so I know I can definitely see the Nealisms in this stuff. Yankee Internet, I don't know what's going on. I've got plugged in connection. I've got a good webcam. Anyhow, let me get to this one splash page in here that you guys will be. Look at this, Neal rocking a Jerry Lewis upshot right there. Look at that. I don't know. It's not looking fuzzy on my end. It's pretty clear on my end, and I've got my phone down here, so it looks clear on my end. But let me see. There's a splash. Oh, this splash page right here. The camera angle, 3-point perspective, guys popping out of the doors. But that Tarzan goof figure right there is so Neal Adams. Good Lord, I love that goof of a figure right there. There's too much light behind me. I don't think. Here, you know what? I will try and turn my overhead light off. Look at that right there. That is so Neal Adams. So this has some big Nealisms. Did I just make up a word? Nealisms? I think I did. Let's see. I thought there was another shot of that Tarzan type dude in this book. Maybe not. So he did 2 issues of this. Look at this. There's even a nice little ad right there. That is Kurt Swan, inked by Neal Adams. Love that. Let me go turn my lights off and see if that was it. Hold on. I don't know. There's lots of light in this room. We'll see if that helps. Oh, I think I just walked into a cobweb. See if that helps. I'm back. Hello. Andy should turn off his... Oh, you spelled the word wrong. But I see what you're saying. Here's another book I love. Teen Titans. I believe Neal did 2 issues of this. Inked by Nick Cardy. This was inked by Nick Cardy. So it's got all the Neal Adams goodness going on. This came out in 1969. So you can see the Neal Adams vibe there. But Nick Carty and Neal are not exactly the team supreme you would think of. But look at that camera angle. That's total Neal Adams. Nick Carty, I knew Nick Carty. God rest his soul. He was a great guy. Loved his Aquaman. Nick told me this young guy came in to do a couple issues of Teen Titans to kind of help out. And they wanted Nick to ink it because Nick was drawing Teen Titans at that time. So they wanted to kind of have it consistent. And he's like, this young buck comes in with these Teen Titans pages, and I just did what I do. Didgeridoo. Look at that, Neal Adams. I mean, come on. That's Neal. So there's lots of Neal Adams going on here in this stuff as well. Hold on. I'm trying to find a specific... Nope, that was pretty much it. But you know what else this job has? It has a backup job featuring Donna Troy, inked, drawn by Gil Kane, and inked by Nick Carty. And I love this. Look at this. Not to go too crazy. Look at that. Wonder Girl, drawn by Gil Kane and inked by Nick Carty. Ooh la la. What a figure. And look what she's saying. She's saying the new Wonder Girl. How about that, Tigers? Well, that sounds interesting. Dude, you're watching this on a 50-inch TV? More power to you. Let's see. Of course, I've got the True Believers. I've got this issue as well. But this is the issue of Conan that Neal penciled and inked. Love this issue of Conan. I've got the real thing in my long box. I've got the cheapy dollar one here. She's just a teen. Well, in 1969, she was a teenager, and I was just born. So she's robbing the cradle here. Look at that splash page. Such good stuff. Man, oh man. The fights in this book. He did some Conan stuff in the black and white magazines. Love that shot right there. Come on. That middle shot of Conan. Nice lighting and stuff. Just gorgeous stuff here. Just trying to get to something else that's really cool. Oh, the last panel of the book. Look at that last panel. Confession, I had a huge crush on Deborah Winger version of Wonder Girl. I bet you did. My camera's set at 720. So, but then Neal even did wacky, kooky, crazy stuff. And you're like, what are you talking about, Smith? I'm talking about Neal rocking Twilight Zone, written by Harlan Ellison. So this is awesome. It's got a monster in it. It's got a creature in it. But it also has real people. So you can see Neal's take on clothing and whatnot. Oh, yeah. It's a wraparound cover, too. Look at that. So if you don't have this, you must get it. 40% Zed says, what? I didn't know that existed. You know it. Oh, Neal really did great. The creators of Superman. Needless to say, Superman Muhammad Ali. I've got the original Treasury. I've got the hardback reprint they did a few years ago. It is by far my favorite Superman, besides Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and then Kurt Swan. Those are my top three for Superman. And I always was like, I want to see a full blown out book by Neal Superman. And he did the Supermen of Tomorrow book. I've got the single issues. I've got the hardcover of it. Love it. Love it. Let me just throw this down here. Here's another fun job. Neal did some stuff in. This cover is by Jerry Ordway. So Jerry Ordway cover. But wait, you're like, Neal Adams could do no wrong. Now, of course, he's human. Every human can do wrong. We're not perfect. But Neal drew funny stuff just as well as realistic stuff, as I show at Jerry Lewis. Look at that Aquaman. I mean, I'm sorry. It's the Green Harpoon challenge with Mermaid Man or whatever his name was. Leg Kick says, did you notice Neal drew a lot of Batman in the rain? Why do you think he drew that? It's cooler. It just gives it atmosphere. Gotham City, I mean, look at every Batman movie. Gotham City barely has a sunny day. So I think it's just because it's cooler and it adds atmosphere. So look at that, man. I couldn't afford it, but if I could own that page, I'd buy it. I love this stuff. This is a short job. 1, 2. Let's see how many pages it is. So Neal Adams, 3, 4 pages. Look at that. It's the Green Harpoon. Look at these nice figures, nice simplistic figures of Mermaid Man. Nice upshot. Total Neal Adams perspectives and stuff. This is pages 5, 6. I'm counting, so I'm really curious how many pages this book is. But you just got nice camera angles, nice figure work, the big shots and stuff. Just love it. And Neal was definitely influenced by Mort Drucker when it came to his likenesses and things like that. So that was 7, 8. This is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pages. This story is 13 pages long. So you guys, you need to go get this story. It is 13 pages of fun goodness. And SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm showing this whole story just because it's a totally different side of what Neal usually does. And then the end of the story there. Kind of buzz through it quicker, but you get it. I love Merman. This has remotely amusing aquatic action bike. John Bogdanov has a story in here. I don't know what John Bogdanov, like this has a story. Rob Bunn. How did those other guys must have just done 1 page things, 1 or 2 page things, because this book isn't that thick. So I'm curious now what John Bogdanov might have done. That's not it. I don't think that's it. That's definitely not it. That's not it. I don't know. I'll have to look back through it. But super cool. Love that book. Of course, when I was a child, this is a reprint. I have the original issues. You're going to get tired of me saying I have the original issues. But reprint his Black Bolt stuff, Inhuman stuff from Adventure Comics. That was the cover by John Buscema. But who will forget that? Neal kind of had a penchant for taking cool poses. Like, that's a famous Jack Kirby Black Bolt pose. I don't have them next to me. But Neal also did 2 issues of Thor inked by legendary Joe Sinnott. Joe Sinnott inking Thor. Holy crap, it is gorgeous. Thank you, Andy. I was thinking it added a artistic challenge. I have a beautiful piece from Neal signed of Batman. Oh my God, I'd love to see that. I don't have his Tomb of Dracula work. I don't know the exact issues it's in, but I got to find it. But this page, when I was a kid, right here, this page right here, when I was a kid, of him flying, the perspectives, the feeling of movement, that last panel, the typical Neal foreshortening like that really makes you feel like you're in the scene. Good googly moogly. That just got my juices flowing for wanting to draw comics. I mean, everything in this stuff. Look at that figure of Black Bolt. The way he spotted the blacks on the costume as well. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this reprints that gorgeous stuff. Look at that Thor right there. I always said, and I hold to it to this day, his Tomb of Dracula was a 4-issue miniseries where Colin did the series. He did all 4 issues of the Tomb of Dracula miniseries? I got to look that up. But I always said, you can take anything that Neal did back in the 70s, his Batman stuff, this stuff. You take anything Neal did and it holds up to today and still blows away a lot of stuff that comes out today from the big two. And the only difference is it doesn't have all that fancy computer color. But if you take anything Neal did from back in the day, and I want to show you something else. Neal did 2 issues of World's Finest that featured Superman and Batman. I think it was 178, 179. And they reprinted them. I have them, but they reprinted them in this World's Finest. You take this stuff and put modern day coloring on it, and it holds up with anything coming out today. Anything coming out today. The passing of Neal, who do you feel like are the remaining living legends working today? Wow, that's tough, because I was actually going to say John Romita Sr. is a living legend, but he's not working. I got to really think about that. Let me think about that as I look through this story. This was great. You got to see Neal drawing Superman back then. Once again, great perspective and camera angles. Love that stuff. Just the lighting that he did. Oh, love this. Love that right there. That shot of Superman by Neal. Love it. Just love it. Art to Bear. There you go. Art to Bear. I didn't mind some of the coloring from continuity, to be honest. I know that's a different opinion, but I didn't mind some of the coloring from continuity. Oh, Michael Golden. Michael Golden, that's a good call. You know, the thing is, to fall into that category, Walt Simonson, see, you're doing all the work for me. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Walt Simonson, Michael Golden. I love you guys. Graham Nolan. Graham started in the 80s, but he did start about almost 40 years ago. So it depends on when you want to say the start date. I would prefer to keep the start dates to the 1970s now. So 1970s, Walt Simonson, Michael Golden, Jim Starlin. God, I know I'm blanking on some, but I mean, you know, Art Adams, of course, he's going to be a living legend. Look at the coloring, or look at the lighting on that face right there. Nice split lighting right there. You can kind of see some Brian Hitch in some of this lighting. Can you not? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And then it ends with a nice page right there of Kool and the Gang. Love this. George Perez. George Perez is definitely a legend. Then Neal did stuff like this. Companies want to pay for it. You do it, and this is continuity coloring. Let me just double check. Color by continuity. Yep. And the art is by Neal and his studio. So it's not all just Neal. But Neal Adams busting out Mr. T and the T-Force. Yes, John Byrne leg kick. John Byrne. Come on, leg kick. You know my memory. You ask me a question like this, and in 2 hours from now, I'll start rattling off names. You should have asked me this question before I went live, but you didn't know I was going to go live. Look at this. Mr. T and the T-Force. Dun, dun, dun. So you got, you know, this was Continuity Studios, of course, but you know Neal did the cool stuff. Like, come on. Sure, Neal probably did that. You know, I pity the fool who doesn't like Neal Adams. I pity the fool. Neal definitely did the layouts, stuff like that. You can tell. I dropped one of the issues. Let me look at this one. Ugh. Ugh. And these are all my spin rack. My spin rack is for inspiration. Mike Zeck, Yes, Mike Zeck is a living legend. I think he's just taking it easy now. Taking life easy. Look at that great down shot. AJ loved the Mr. T book. So did I. That baby right there. Boom. That's a 2-page spread. Frank Miller. Yes. See, you guys are doing it. All this stuff. Super, super cool. See, I don't mind this coloring. Looking for any other cool shots. Which there are lots of cool shots in this book, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just big heads with nice lighting and stuff. John Beatty told me that he's in the Philippines looking for a retirement home. No shit. Mike might retire to the Philippines. Holy crap. That's awesome. And then, of course, for Windjammer, which was Valiant, he did Nighthawk. Now, he didn't draw all this Nighthawk stuff, to be fair, but I love that. Look at that. I love this drawing. I love the design of Nighthawk. Check that out. Swooping down. Just great lighting and stuff. Now, I will say I'm not in love with the coloring on this stuff, but you know, that's okay. Boom. So big Nighthawk fan here. Love it. This one might be, hold on, I have a Megalith here drawn by Sal Velluto. I'm just looking to see if this is the one that I own pages. Oh, it is. So let's see. I own this page of original art. And the panel where panel 1, 2, 3, where Megalith is curling, and then panel 5, those were inked by Neal on vellum, and I have those inks that were taped to the back of the page, so I own that page. I have no idea. Very good. Hey, all, if you've already back first, man, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and click the bell. I looked up Neal's Tomb of Dracula, and number 1 of the regular series was drawn by Neal inside. Okay, I'm definitely going to look it up. Thank you. So I own that page I just showed you. This is why it's on my spin rack, because I own pages from it. Let's see. What's the other pages I own? I don't think it's that one. Oh, I own these 2 pages as well. So this panel right here, Neal re-inked it, and I've got the patch of that he re-inked. That close-up on this page in panel 2 he re-inked. So yeah, so I own these 2 pages as well. So these are the pages of Megalith that I own. And then I own one by Michael Netzer as well. Megalith is a character I would love to have drawn just to be able to say, holy crap, I drew a Neal Adams character. Honestly, I would love to have drawn Megalith. And then, wait, maybe I do have the Megalith. I've got another Megalith here. Oh, no, I don't. This one was drawn by Ernesto Infante. Inks by Dan Barry and Neal Adams. Ernesto was a longtime mainstay, Marilyn was telling me, of continuity studios. And you know, I liked his work. He definitely studied Neal. Neal did do some inks on this, like the close-up and the circle panel of Megalith, I believe, is inked by Neal. Why not do an Andy Smith character called Monolith? Yeah, it's true. I never thought of that. But yeah, that is true. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Monolith. That's not bad. So this is a great one. And then, did you know Valeria Shebat, which was one of Neal's characters? Ellie, let's see. Okay, hold on. No, I don't think Art ever inked Neal's work. Megalith looks like an Andy Smith character. To be honest, you should do a tribute piece with Megalith on the stream. I've done a commission of Megalith. I will show you guys a while ago. Yeah, that's why I think of it. All right, let me see if I can find that piece I did of Megalith as a commission. I should know exactly where it is. Let's see. Oh, so this was done. Holy crap. This drawing was done back in 2005. Look at that. 2005, I did a megalith. Megalith. So yeah, so I did this in 2005. Tried to give him a little bit of that Neal face, but I'm also influenced by Neal. So it's more like, give him the hairstyle and stuff. But yeah, so I did this in 2005. So there's the megalith. Fal says, how much do you charge for commission work? Well, an 11 by 17 like this, you're looking at $400. So $400 for an 11 by 17 like this. And then I also inked. I have this print. So I did this in 1999. I have the pencils to this as a print that Neal did. And I slapped some ink on it for the fun of it. And I inked it with a pen to try and give it that vibe, because Neal used a brush and a pen when he did his inking. So I inked this with, I either used a 102 pen, I used brush and pen. So this is not all brush. But I want to use the pen to give it that Neal vibe. So this is some of my inking over Neal that I did. Wish I remember what pen this was, because I really do like that pen nib. Nibs are just so tough, but I do like it. So you can send me a direct message. I'm at Andy Smith Art on Twitter. Send me a direct message. Same on Facebook. Send me a direct message and we can talk. So there you go. This was a fun one that I inked. I might have to print this out because I really do like the line work and stuff I got going on here. And this was from 1999. Holy crap-oli. All right, so last thing I want to show is, so before there was a Valerie the She-Bat Nighthawk crossover, it was supposed to be Spawn. You heard me right. It was supposed to be Spawn versus Valerie the She-Bat. And I've got some pages I can show you, because when that fell through, Neal said, well, forget it. I'll just draw Nighthawk in all the shots of Spawn. So, oops, I forgot I'm not full screen. So there's this. I think this would have been freaking awesome to see. I would love to have seen this come to fruition. This is cool. I mean, Neal's a guy who could take any character and make him look awesome. And not that Spawn doesn't look awesome by Todd, because he does. But Neal's like, hold my beer. Let me show you what the Nealster can do. And then what I really love is pencils. So you can see some of Neal's pencils. Love seeing pencils, baby. Love pencils. And then that was it. That's all they showed in this book of that stuff. Unfortunately. So there you go. That's the Neal Adams stuff I have on my spin rack, you know. So what do we got here? Oh, cool. 1 second. So that's it. That is like, Neal is Neal. Oh, I got one more thing I can show you guys. Wait, there's more. So hold on, I'll show you this one other thing. Because I could never get Neal, obviously, I could never get Neal to do a drawing of First Man. When will we get First Man shirts that look like First Man's torso? I need to make tons of money for that because big print shirts like that are not cheap. So I can never get Neal to do a drawing of First Man because it was just out of my ballpark. So, yes, this is a cheat. I took a figure of Green Lantern that Neal drew and I redrew it as First Man. So this is the closest I'll ever get to seeing Neal draw First Man. Dun, dun, dun. Right there. So this is me taking a Green Lantern drawing that Neal did and changing it into First Man. Right there. I didn't do the metal rendering. I stuck with the rendering that Neal had on Green Lantern because I just really, I don't know, I just wanted to. So that is me doing Neal, doing First Man. Leg Kick says, how do you keep everything so organized to find it? Well, I mean, this was hanging up behind me on my wall. So I literally had this on the wall behind me. So I knew where this was. So that was easy to find. And all the comics I showed were from my spin rack. So that was pretty easy to find as well. But guys, that's it. I just wanted to talk about Neal, his influence on me, his huge influence on the industry from guys like Mike Nasser, Tom Grinberg, Sal Valuto. Oh man, I'm blanking on this one guy's name. I mean, Brian Hitch, me, Bart Sears is influenced by Neal Adams a lot. So many people are influenced by Neal. It's just not even funny. That's cool. I once turned a Jack Kirby Black Panther splash page turned into the main character from Johnny Ryan's Prison Pit. There you go. Show the real Green Lantern side by side. All right, hold on 1 second before I go. Let me see if I can find it. If I can find it, I'll show you. Because I did actually make his shoulders a little bit wider because First Man's supposed to have wider shoulders. So I made his shoulders wider. I'm just doing a quick image search. Oh, yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz. I mean, of course. I kind of thought that was a given. But yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz. Definitely. All right. So I'm doing a search. Hold on, I gotta text my daughter back. Good Lord, what is this? Oh. Okay, so I'm looking. And that's right, go back Green Lantern, guys. It's going to be hard to find that drawing, I think, that Neal did. There's one place I might be able to find it in my folders. So let me just do that real fast. You guys like hanging out. even though I'm starving, but that's okay. No, I'm kidding. I love hanging out with you guys. All right, Neal Adams Green Lantern. Hopefully it's under Neal Adams. If I have it. Oops, wrong folder. Wrong folder. Let's see. And of course, who can forget the Enemy Ace job that Neal drew that Joe Kubert inked? That job is awesome. Holy cow. Call the wife for a sandwich. My wife ain't home. And if she was home, yeah, she wouldn't be getting me a sandwich. All right, I'm looking through my Neal Adams stuff. I've got a folder with Neal Adams stuff in it to see if I can find that Green Lantern that I used. No, I can't, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to show you side by side. Lit Kick, do I have a favorite comic by Neal? I do. I'll show you again. I showed it earlier in the stream, but I'll be glad to show you again. This is my favorite comic by Neal Adams. Right here, Green Lantern, Green Arrow 75. This is it. This is me right here. This is my favorite comic by Neal Adams. Right here. Right here. Love this book. He did pencils and inks. Leg Kick, I don't know if you were here to see this. This is a Batman that I drew that Neal Adams inked. So I drew this and Neal Adams inked it. Got him to do it at a convention. Oh, don't apologize. There's no need to apologize. For the love of googly moogly. No need. No need at all. And of course, I did do my own tribute to the Green Lantern Green Arrow 76 cover about 20 years ago. But now I'm just looking to see real quick if I can find that shot. But it doesn't look like I'm having any luck. And I'm not. So, what are you going to do? I tried. Just looking through this other... No, I can't find it, unfortunately. So, is that to go with Batman Raw story where they sword fight shirtless in the desert? Oh, you'd have to go with. That is a great one, but I love Green Lantern, dude. I love Green Lantern. All right, too much glare. Hold on. I think I have a scan of that Batman piece. So, I'll just pull it up. And I mean, I know I have a scan of it. And it should be in this one specific folder. There it is. Here. There it is. Yes, I have drawn Green Lantern for DC. I love. Oh, Kamito Nicola. Hail, Andy Smith. Hail to you. I love Green Lantern's X-Men. Holy crap. I've got it in black and white. I've got it in full color. Love that stuff. But here's the Batman that Neal inked over me. So this is a thrill. I got Neal Adams to ink a Batman drawing that I did. So how cool is that? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And guys, this is what I'm going to leave you with right here. Thank you for joining me on this trip down memory lane with Neal Adams. He is going to be so sorely missed. Stupid COVID. I haven't been able to see him in 2 years. So the last time I saw Neal was in 2019. And I'll Won't be able to see him again, unfortunately. Neal, you're going to be missed big time. You truly left an indelible mark on the comic book industry and on so many people. It's not even funny. So thank you, Neal. Hat tip to you. But I always got to end the show with this. Oh, and remember, before I end the show with this, if you haven't backed my book yet, First Man, please go back and check it out. I should be getting it from the printer in the next week or so. So go check out First Man. Back it now. You will not be disappointed. 64 pages of fun-filled action, and you'll be able to see some Neal Adams influence. Guys, I'll check you guys later. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. Go ahead, go with it. 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 Sexy up. 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 Go ahead, go with it. Get your sexy up. I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah.